Burton once wrote in his diary that he drank 3 bottles of vodka a day. He still showed up to set and gave award-winning performances. But one actor on this list almost didn't make it past his 30s. Who was it? Keep watching to find out. 1. Oliver Reed. Let's start with Oliver Reed. He starred in Oliver, and later in Gladiator. Reed was famous for drinking contests in pubs. He once appeared on a TV chat show so drunk that people still talk about it today. Sadly, Reed died in 1999 while filming Gladiator in Malta. Reports say he had been drinking with sailors just before he passed away. He was only 61 years old. Even now, his name is linked to one word: legend. 2. Errol Flynn. Next is Errol Flynn, the swashbuckling star of The Adventures of Robin Hood. Flynn lived a fast, wild life on and off camera. He wrote a famous memoir called My Wicked, Wicked Ways, where he openly described his heavy drinking. Flynn often drank before and during filming, yet still became one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Flynn died in 1959 at just 50 years old. Doctors who examined him said his body looked decades older than his real age because of years of heavy drinking. If you love stories about Hollywood's wildest stars, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss a video like this one. 3. Montgomery Clift. Now let's talk about Montgomery Clift. He starred in big films like From Here to Eternity and A Place in the Sun. In 1956, Clift was in a terrible car accident right after leaving a party at his friend Elizabeth Taylor's house. The crash badly injured his face, and doctors had to rebuild parts of it with surgery. After the accident, Clift leaned more and more on alcohol and pills to deal with the pain. His drinking got so bad that one friend sadly called it the longest suicide in Hollywood history. Clift passed away in 1966 when he was only 45 years old. He never got the chance to outlive that crash. 4. Bette Davis. Let's move to Bette Davis, one of the most respected actresses in Hollywood history. She won 2 Academy Awards during her long career, including one for Jezebel, and later gave one of her most famous performances in All About Eve. Davis was known for her sharp wit and her tough attitude on set. She also had a reputation for drinking and smoking heavily throughout her career. Unlike some other names on this list, Davis lived to be 81 years old. She passed away in 1989. Many say her strong personality and her famous toughness helped her survive decades in a brutal industry, even though friends and co-stars often talked about how much she could drink during long nights on set. 5. Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey Bogart is next on our list. You probably know him from classic films like Casablanca and The African Queen, which earned him his only Academy Award. Bogart loved throwing parties with his Hollywood friends, and he became the unofficial leader of a famous group of stars who loved to drink together, a group later known as the Rat Pack. Bogart enjoyed scotch and was known to drink well into the night, even when he had early mornings on set the next day. Sadly, years of heavy drinking and constant smoking took a toll on his health. Bogart was diagnosed with cancer in his throat and passed away in 1957. He was only 57 years old. Even today, he's remembered as one of the coolest leading men in movie history. 6. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor was one of the biggest movie stars of all time. She won Oscars for Butterfield 8 and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, 2 very demanding roles. Taylor married 8 times, including twice to fellow heavy drinker Richard Burton. Their relationship was famous for huge fights, lots of love, and lots of alcohol. In 1983, Taylor did something brave. She publicly checked into the Betty Ford Center for help with her addiction to alcohol and pills. At the time, almost no famous people talked openly about getting treatment, so her decision shocked the world. Taylor's honesty helped many other people feel less ashamed about asking for help. Unlike many names on this list, Taylor lived a long life. She passed away in 2011 at age 79, leaving behind an incredible career and a legacy of honesty about addiction. 7. Peter O'Toole. Peter O'Toole became famous for playing the lead role in Lawrence of Arabia. He was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, but never won a competitive one, though he later received an honorary Oscar for his amazing career. O'Toole was close friends with fellow heavy drinkers Richard Burton and Richard Harris. The three of them were known across Britain for their wild nights out, often turning ordinary evenings into legendary stories. But O'Toole's drinking eventually became dangerous. In the 1970s, doctors told him his drinking had seriously damaged his stomach and other organs. He needed major surgery just to survive, and parts of his stomach and pancreas were removed. After that scare, O'Toole gave up drinking completely. He lived for almost 40 more years after that warning, passing away in 2013 at the age of 81. His story shows that it's never too late to make a change. 8. Richard Burton. Richard Burton might be the most famous drinker on this entire list. He starred alongside Elizabeth Taylor in Cleopatra and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, and he was also a legendary stage actor, famous for his powerful performances in plays like Hamlet. Burton was nominated for an Academy Award 7 times, but sadly never won. He kept detailed diaries throughout his life, and in them, he described drinking incredible amounts of hard liquor on his worst days, sometimes the equivalent of several bottles. That's an amount most people could never handle. Burton tried to quit several times over the years, with mixed success. In 1984, he passed away suddenly from a brain hemorrhage. He was only 58 years old. Doctors and biographers believe his decades of heavy drinking likely played a part in his early death. Even with his struggles, Burton remains one of the greatest stage and screen actors Britain has ever produced. 9. David Bowie. David Bowie is a bit different from the others on this list, because he was as famous for music as he was for acting. He starred in films like Labyrinth and The Man Who Fell to Earth. During the mid-1970s, while living in Los Angeles, Bowie struggled badly with substance abuse. In later interviews, he admitted that during this period, he barely ate real food and relied heavily on drugs and alcohol just to get through each day. He later said he barely remembers making some of his most famous music from that time, which is a strange thing for any artist to admit. Eventually, Bowie made a huge change. He moved away from Los Angeles, got healthy, and stayed away from that lifestyle for the rest of his career. He often spoke openly about how dangerous that period of his life had been. Bowie passed away in 2016 after a battle with cancer, at the age of 69. Many fans see his recovery as one of the most inspiring comeback stories in entertainment history. 10. Daniel Radcliffe. Finally, let's talk about Daniel Radcliffe, the actor most famous for playing Harry Potter in all 8 movies. Radcliffe has been very open about a tough period in his life. In several interviews, he admitted that during his late teen years, while he was still filming the final Harry Potter movies, he was drinking heavily. He said the pressure of being famous from such a young age made him want to escape, and alcohol became his way of coping with that pressure. Radcliffe has said he sometimes arrived on set hungover, but tried hard to make sure it never affected his work in front of the camera. Around the age of 20, Radcliffe decided enough was enough. He chose to get sober and has stayed that way ever since. Unlike many of the other actors on this list, Radcliffe is still alive today, and he often speaks honestly in interviews about addiction and recovery to help others going through the same thing. His story proves that even when fame brings huge pressure, it's always possible to turn things around and build a healthier life. From Oliver Reed's Wild Nights to Daniel Radcliffe's Road to Recovery, these stars remind us fame doesn't erase real struggles. Some lost everything to alcohol, others found their way back. Which story surprised you most? Tell us below, and see you next time.